Hey, what is up, mortals? It is JessicaGem here with a new video for you. Welcome to part number 3 of What If Deku Met Ryoko. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. And so, we begin. Midoriya rushed through the gates of the battle stage. He immediately came upon a one-point robot. Without hesitation, Midoriya took out Tenchi. The pulsing blue-green light of the energy sword sprung to life in the greenette's hand. He then rushed forward and decapitated the machine with minimal effort. Before the capable youth could find another opponent, he heard a panicked voice from nearby. Midoriya could also swear the voice was screaming in French. Midoriya looked around him and located the source of the panic. Not too far away from his location was a blonde boy being attacked by a 3-point robot. The green teen reached out, using his telekinesis, and smashed the robot into a nearby building. The blonde boy looked over at Midoriya and said thank you for his help. Midoriya returned the feeling and then took off into the battlefield. He ran through the faux city at top speed. When he came across a robot, he would dispatch it. Most of the robots were cut in half by Tenchi, but many others were crushed or smashed with his telekinesis or enhanced strength. He was also able to help several other test takers. Everything was going well for the young man. The sword-wielding youth stopped for a moment to get his bearings. By his count, he had 45 villain points. That put him in good shape to pass. However, he still had time left, so he should try to get more points. He hadn't trained halfway, so he wouldn't take this test halfway either. After collecting 10 more villain points, Midoriya found himself back on the main street. All of a sudden, the ground underneath the boy's feet rumbled. The youth was blanketed by a massive shadow. Towering over the whole area was the 0-pointer. Midoriya silently thought to himself, how can a school afford such a thing? Midoriya decided the best plan was to run. Suddenly, the green teen heard a feminine voice scream in panic. Help me! The compassionate boy turned to see a girl with short brown hair trapped by fallen debris in the path of the massive robot. Without a second thought, Midoriya rushed over to help the girl. He spoke to her in a calm voice. Hold still. I'll get you out of here. The girl nodded at Midoriya in understanding. Midoriya saw 2 important factors before him. The first was the girl was trapped under a large debris pile. He could use his telekinesis to move the rubble off of her, but then there was the second problem. The enormous 0-pointer would be on top of them in a matter of seconds. Midoriya didn't have time to remove the debris and get the girl to safety before they were both crushed by the robot's tank treads. A voice cut through all of the worry and concern in Midoriya's mind. It spoke quietly, but had power behind it. Wings of light and force. Call the Lighthawk. An image appeared in the teen's mind showing him what to do. Midoriya figured he was going crazy. Clearly the stress of the last 10 months of fierce training and trying to save the girl from the robot had made him snap. But seeing as this was an emergency and that he had no other idea, he decided to listen to the voice. The girl got a panicked look on her face. Midoriya stood firm. Stay calm. I said I was going to get you out of this, and I will. Midoriya stepped in front of the girl and focused all of his remaining energy. The teen's body began to glow with a powerful aura. At first, it was his normal bluish-green energy, but then it became a bright white. Just as the robot approached the two, 3 white wing-shaped objects emerged from Midoriya's body. These wings projected a force field around Midoriya and the girl. The 0-pointer tried to advance, but only succeeded in spinning its treads. Midoriya felt more powerful than he ever had in that moment, but he knew it wasn't going to last. He could feel his body being worn out by the strain of using this power. His only hope now was that the test would end soon. Out of nowhere, a cloud of dust appeared on the battlefield. Midoriya then saw a figure in red zoom past him towards the robot. This figure then jumped into the air and delivered a powerful punch to the robot's head. The impact from the attack made the 0-pointer's head crumble like a soda can. The robot's body came crashing to the ground. The figure landed a few feet away. As it walked over, Midoriya could tell who it was. The figure was the girl with goggles and devices on her arms that he had seen at the beginning of the test. You can lower your force field now. I don't think the robot is going to bother us anymore. Midoriya had been so focused on the scene in front of him that he forgot he was still using the light wing. Midoriya relaxed and dispelled the wings. The glowing wings and the aura around his body disappeared. It's a good thing you put up that field, otherwise you two would have been done for." The girl spoke in a friendly, light-hearted tone. This girl really confused Midoriya. She performs an awesome attack like that, but talks in such a kind way. He would have figured that she would say something badass. Midoriya found his voice after a few seconds and responded to the girl. "Yeah, I kind of acted out of instinct." The green-eyed youth then remembered the other girl. "Oh, right! Let me take care of this first." Midoriya was worn out from using the light wings, but he still had enough power to use his telekinesis to remove the debris from the trapped brunette. Midoriya walked over to the girl and focused his mind. The debris then began to float into the air. Midoriya then gently pulled the round-faced girl to safety. She let out a sigh of relief. "Thank you both so much. I feel really stupid." "There's no reason for you to feel that way. It could have happened to anyone." Midoriya then went to check her ankle to see if it was broken. The girl smiled at Midoriya. "Thank you. My name is Ochako Uraraka, by the way. What are your names?" "Oh, I'm Izuku Midoriya," the goggled girl responded. "Melissa Shield here. So, how is her ankle?" Once Midoriya placed his hands on Uraraka's ankle, he knew that it was broken. If Midoriya was at full power, he could heal this wound in a moment, but he had used so much power during the test, the best he could do was to heal it to a mild sprain, but he figured something was better than nothing. Midoriya focused what little power he had left into his hands and transferred that power into Uraraka's ankle. The compassionate teen could sense the bones mending and the muscles relaxing. "It's not that bad, just a sprain." "Well, that is good to hear." Midoriya helped the round-faced girl to her feet. Even though Midoriya had healed Uraraka's ankle, it was still hard for her to walk on it. Melissa offered her shoulder. With that, Midoriya and Melissa helped Uraraka to the front gate. Just then, Present Mike announced in a righteous voice, "And that does it, everyone! The UA entrance exam is over for this year. For those that can, please exit the field. For those that can't, we will be providing first aid, so don't worry about it." After the DJ hero said that, a little old lady in a doctor's outfit came onto the field. "Good job, everyone. You may not have passed, but you are all winners in my book. Is there anyone who needs attention?" Melissa raised her hand. "Over here, miss." Izuku went into an epic ramble when he realized that the old lady was the youthful hero Recovery Girl. Melissa giggled at the enthusiasm that Midoriya had about heroes. Uraraka cleared her throat, and Izuku broke out of his hero fact spewing daze. Midoriya and Melissa sat Uraraka down in front of Recovery Girl. The elderly hero examined the round-faced girl's ankle. "Well, that is not too bad. I will have you taken care of in a few minutes." The elderly hero stretched her lips down to Uraraka's cheek and gave her a big grandma kiss. A greenish aura enveloped the pink-cheeked girl, and the remainder of her injury healed before the teen's eyes. "Okay, that will do it. You three take it easy." Uraraka thanked Midoriya and Melissa for their help again. The two told her it was their pleasure. The three of them then headed out of the front gate of the battle stage together. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. With the services Skillshare provides, you can get access to many in-depth tutorial videos on basically anything you want to learn. Each class that they have is bound to help you with your creative endeavors. Do you want to learn how to make videos like this one? Do you want to learn how to write scripts or edit audio? Skillshare has you covered, and with our link, you can have a 14-day free trial. So what are you waiting for? Click the link now and get 14 days worth of classes free. Link in the description below. At a different battle stage, Ryoko was taking her exam. The white-haired girl stood in a crowd of other test takers waiting for the test to begin. Ryoko noticed a certain blonde boy in the group. She knew he was Katsuki Bakugo, the boy who had been rude to Izuku and her at the front gate. If they had met earlier in life, she would have ripped the tongue out of his insolent head for behaving that way towards her. But that was before. She was trying to live up to Izuku's ideals of heroism. She felt it was the least she could do, considering how kind and understanding both Izuku and his grandpa had been since she crashed on Earth. And who knows, maybe she could win the eye of the green-haired cinnamon bun while she was at it. Ryoko was so lost in thought that she was shocked when Present Mike announced the start of the exam. The white-haired girl ran onto the battlefield with the other test takers. The field was set up like a massive factory. The first robot Ryoko encountered was a 3-pointer. She summoned her energy sword and cut the bot in half. The mighty girl sighed. "This is the test? I knew it would be easy, but this is embarrassing. The written test was way harder." With that flippant comment, Ryoko ran off to find more robots. Ryoko used her ability to fly up onto the top of a large warehouse to get a better view of the area. The powerful girl saw a group of test takers struggling with a group of robots. What Ryoko saw, that the group of youths didn't, was that another group of faux villains was approaching them from behind. Ryoko leapt over to the battle. She blasted the 3 ambushing robots with energy blasts. Without pausing, she jumped over to the group of students and took out the robots that were attacking them. She winked at the group and then took off. Ryoko continued this way from there. She would fly upward to find the robots and swoop in to blast, slash, or rip the machines apart. With half the test done, the spiky-haired girl had collected 65 points. Ryoko was doing well. She was going to pass the test at this rate. Suddenly, a giant shape emerged on the field. Ryoko knew from the images given before the test that this was the 0-point robot. Even she was surprised by its size. The determined girl knew that fighting the robot had no value, but she couldn't resist. It had been so long since she had destroyed such a large mech, plus, the outlaw in her drove her to show off her dominance. Ryoko flew over and landed on a building on the massive droid's path. She looked down and saw that the robot had destroyed several buildings and trapped several test takers from escaping. If the robot continued its assault, the students would be crushed. Ryoko doubted that the examiners would allow that to happen, but she decided to act. Ryoko flew in and slashed the giant beast's tank treads. This stopped the metal kaiju from advancing. The battle-hardened girl then jumped up with all her might, cracking the sidewalk, and delivered a powerful uppercut to the metal-plated monster. This sent the robot tumbling backwards and laid it out flat on its back. Ryoko had been in enough battles to know that her opponent wasn't finished. The robot tried to get up, but was having a problem with it. It kind of looked like a turtle on its back. Still in the air, Ryoko charged 3 powerful blasts and sent them crashing into the 0-pointer. These blasts destroyed the robot's head and arms. With this damage, the robot stopped moving. Ryoko flew down into the area where the group of examinees was trapped. She then used several energy blasts to remove the wall of debris that was blocking their path. Several ran out without saying a word to Ryoko, but there were 2 that walked up to her. The first one was a pink-skinned girl. She was literally jumping up and down as she spoke to Ryoko in an excited tone. "That was amazing! You were like whoosh, and then you were like boom! I'm Mina Ashido, by the way. What's your name?" Ashido's enthusiasm caught Ryoko off guard. Midoriya had been the most positive person she had ever met, but Ashido was in a whole nother league. "My name is Ryoko, and I'm just glad I could help." The other girl came forward. She had short purple hair and strange appendages coming from her ears. "And I'm Kyokujiro. Thank you. That fight was a sight to see." "It was, wasn't it?" Present Mike's voice then came over the intercom and announced the end of the exam. Ryoko said goodbye to Ashido and Jiro. She then exited the battlefield through the main gate. After they both got changed, Midoriya and Ryoko met back up to ride the train home together. Midoriya did this for 2 reasons. First, to keep an eye on Ryoko and make sure she didn't get into trouble. The green teen knew that Ryoko was trying to turn over a new leaf, but she still had a ways to go. Secondly, though he couldn't say it to her face, Midoriya did like spending time with Ryoko. Izuku knew that the white-haired girl did have a violent streak in her, but she was getting better at controlling her fits of rage. Once you got past that, Ryoko had a good heart. The 2 had gotten closer over the past 10 months. It had taken some time for Izuku to get used to talking to a pretty girl like Ryoko. He hadn't had much experience with that in his young life. Most girls avoided him because he was labeled quirkless when he was young, but Ryoko didn't care about any of that. It was nice to have a friend after so many years. Thus began the long process of waiting for the exam results. Fortunately, Midoriya had plenty to occupy his time. The day after the exam, Midoriya went to see his grandfather and told him about the light wings he had summoned during the test. The young man also told him about the voice that spoke into his mind. Hearing about this event made Katsuhito very concerned.
Those wings are called Lighthawk wings. They are weapons of great power, but I have never heard of a living being with the ability to produce them. It was not even possible for pure-blood Jurian nobility who have greater power. The only time I have seen them produced was from Jurian warships.
So, what does it mean, Grandpa?
It means you are more powerful than even I thought.
So, can you help me get control of these Lighthawk wings?
I will do my best to help you, grandson, but we are in uncharted territory. I'm afraid it will be up to you to master this power.
Midoriya got a determined look on his face. He spoke with a firm tone.
I will do my best to master this power.
I won't let you down, Grandpa.
I know you will, Izuku, and you could never let me down.
The old man paused in thought before continuing.
10 years ago, when I began your training, I knew you had great potential. However, I never thought you would awaken a legendary power like the Lighthawk. But I should not be surprised. The one thing you have proven over these years is that you have what it takes to handle such power. You are studious and determined to better yourself in all aspects of your life. I am more sure now than I was then that you will be the most powerful hero this world has ever seen. More powerful than All Might.
Midoriya tried to hold back the tidal wave of tears welling up inside him from the old man's touching words. With all of his might, he managed to choke back the salty tsunami. After several minutes of silence, Izuku managed to get his voice back. The teen spoke in a grateful tone. Thank you for everything, Grandpa. If it wasn't for you, I would not be as strong as I am now.
I did everything I could to prepare you for the future you wanted, Izuku. From here on out, it's up to you. I know you will make us all proud.
But I haven't even been accepted into UA yet, Grandpa.
You will get in. I know it. They would be fools not to take you.
Keep that up and I'm gonna cry, Grandpa. Both men nodded at each other. They had said everything that needed to be said. A few weeks later, Izuku was sitting at his desk studying. All of a sudden, Inko busted into the room. The sweet woman spoke in a frantic voice. Izuku, you got a letter. It's from UA. I think it's your test results. Izuku took the envelope from his mother. The woman left the greenette alone to look at the results. The curious teen was hesitant to open the envelope. The contents of this one package would change the course of his future. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so farewell and have a divine day.